What is up guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a lead follow-up system by creating a simple workflow in make.com. Let's get started. In Make, I've created the scenario that I've renamed to lead follow-up system. Here, we're going to start by adding a trigger. So the trigger, in our case, it's going to be a form that the leads are going to fill in with their data. Then we're going to use their data to qualify the leads and then send them follow-up emails. In type form, I've created a form that I've renamed to lead qualification form. Here is a welcome message to the form, which is on the lines of this short form. Helps us understand your situation so we can respond in the most relevant way. Once submitted, you'll receive the next steps based on your answers. So here, I've added 12 elements to a form. So the first question that we're asking our lead is, what is your full name? So here's where they're going to type in their full name. The other question that we're asking them is, what is your email address? They're going to fill in the email address right here. The other question that we're asking them is, what best describes your role in the company? So the lead can either be the decision maker, can influence the decision but do not decide alone, or they can be researching options for someone else. The other question that we're asking them is, what is the main reason you're reaching out today? So the reason could either be we need to solve this immediately, we are actively evaluating solutions, we are exploring options for the future, or just curious or learning. The other question that we're asking them is, what best describes your current situation? And then here, they're going to choose any of these options over here. So the options are either the problem is costing us time or money every day, the problem is slowing us down, there is minor inconvenience, or not a problem yet. The other question is on the lines of, when are you looking to take action? So, and here we have 3 options. So they can either choose to take action immediately, within 1 to 3 months, or later than 3 months. The other question that we're asking them is, do you have a budget allocated for this? So here, the options are either yes, budget is approved, budget depends on the solution, or no budget at all. The other question that we're asking them is, how big is your company or operation? So the options are either just me, 2 to 5 people, or 20 plus people. The other question that we're asking them is, what happens if you do nothing? So the options are either we keep losing time or money, things stay inefficient, or not sure. The other question that we're asking them is, have you tried solving this before? The options are either yes, and it did not work, yes, partially successful, no, this is our first attempt. And the last question that we're asking them is, what is the best next step for you? And the options are either I want to speak with someone as soon as possible, I want to understand the solutions better, or I just want information for now. And here we are, after they filled in our form, we're going to receive this thank you message here. So now, to fill out our form, here, I'll click on Publish Edits, and here I'll copy the link to our form and open the link on a new tab to fill out our form. Here, before we start filling out our form in our workflow, here, we're going to search for Typeform. So I'll search for Typeform right here and click on Typeform. Here, I'll click on the Watch Response module. Here, you'll need to create your connection to connect your account to make.com. To do that, just click on Add right here, give your connection a name, and then click on Save right here. And then on the new window that pops up, choose the account that you'd like to connect to Make, and your connection will be created. Since I have already done that, I'm going to close this right here. After creating a connection, here we're going to limit it to 1, and here we're going to find our form, which is this form right here. Then here I'll click on Save, and here I would like to start from now. Then here I'll click on Save. And now we can proceed and fill out our form. So here we're going to start by filling our full name. Click on OK. I'll also add my own email address. Click on OK. Or best describes your role in the company. You can say I'm the final decision maker. What's the main reason you're reaching out? We need to solve this immediately. Or best describe your current situation. It's costing us time and money. When are you looking to take action? You can say immediately. Click on OK. Do you have a budget? Yes, I do have a budget. How big is your company? You can say just me. Click on OK. What happened if you do nothing? You keep losing money. Have you tried this solution before? Yes, and it did not work. What's the best next step for you? I want to speak to someone as soon as possible. And here I'll click on Submit our form. Now, in our workflow, I'll run this module to capture the data that we just filled in our form. As you can see over here, we capture the data that we just filled in our form. Full name, email address, all these other relevant information that we just filled in our form right here, which is awesome. So here, the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to set the variables for form submission. So I'll click on the Set Multiple Variables module. And here, we're going to start by setting the fields for the full name. And then the value will be this value right here. Add an item. You want to set the variable for their email address. The value will be this value right here. And here we're going to set the variable for company role. The value will be this value right here. So I'm going to set the variable for the reason for reaching out. The value will be this value right here. Then here I'll add an item. And here we're going to set the variable for the current situation description. The value will be this value right here. You can also set the variable for when they're looking to take action. The value will be this value right here. And I'll add another item. Give a variable a name. This will be, do you have a budget? Give a variable a name. Then the value will be this value right here. And we're going to set the variable for the company size. Company size, the value will be this right here. You can set the variable for what happens if you do nothing. Then you're going to set the variable value. Then I'll add an item. And then set the variable for if they've tried solving this before. This will be the value. And then lastly, we're going to set the variable for the next steps. And the value will be this value right here. And I'll click on save right here. To set the variables for the form submission data, here I'll choose where to start and choose manually. I'll choose our previous submission over here and click on save. Then I'll run automation over here to set the variables, as you can see over here, which is awesome. So here I rename this module to lead submission data. Then I'll click on save. And here I rename this to set submission data variables and click on save right here. So now the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to wait a few seconds to qualify our lead. So I'll search for the sleep module right here. You can wait, let's say 3 seconds. And then we can proceed and qualify our lead using an AI tool. So in our case, we can use either OpenAI, Perplexity, or Gemini. In our case, I'm going to choose to use Gemini. So in Gemini, I'll click on generate a response. Like we did with the other modules here, you'll also need to create your connection to connect your account to Make. So give your connection a name and then add your API key over here and click on save to create your connection. If you haven't created your API key, just open this link on a new tab and then create your API key. And after creating it, come and paste it right here. Then click on save to create your connection. Since I have already done that, I'm going to close this right here. Then I'm going to choose a model right here. I'm going to choose Gemini 2.5. And here, the message, we're going to add the user's message right here. I'm going to choose text and add the message over here. Message is on the lines of, you're a strict lead qualification engine used inside an automation workflow. And here we're going to add our system prompt. The prompt is on the lines of, analyze the form submission data and classify the lead exactly as one of the following. So either hot, warm, or cold. You must base your decision only on the data provided. You must not explain your reasoning. You must not output anything other than one single word. Allowed output is either hot, warm, or cold. And here we are mapping our form submission data. So we are mapping role in company, primary reason for reaching out, current situation, timeline to take action, budget availability, company size, consequence of doing nothing, previous attempts to solve problem, and preferred next steps. And here we're outlining the qualification roles. So we're telling the tool, classify as hot if most of the following are true. If the lead is a decision maker or final authority, if there is clear urgency or immediate timeline, if there is approved or clear available budget, if there is a strong pain with real consequences, and if the explicit desire is to speak or to take action now. We're telling the tool, classify as warm if most of the following are true. If there is a real problem that exists, but urgency is moderate, if the budget is planned, conditional, or unclear, if the timeline is weeks or months, and lastly, if they're evaluating options or learning before deciding. Then we're instructing the tool to classify the lead as cold if most of the following are true. If the lead is researching or just curious, if there's no urgency or distant timeline, if there's no budget or unclear value, if there's no strong consequence if nothing changes, and if there's no intent to speak or act soon. The output instructions, we're telling the tool output exactly one word, no punctuations, explanations, formatting, or additional text. And here we like to output only the text. And here I click on save. So here I rename this to lead qualifier. So now let us try and qualify our lead that filled in our form with this data. So to do that here, I'll choose where to start, and then I'll choose manually. And here I'm going to our previous form submission data and click on save. And here I'll run automation. Here you can see the result was one word, which was hot, since this lead is qualified, which is awesome. So now we're going to now proceed and send them the follow-up emails. So here I'll wait a few seconds. So I'll search for the sleep module right here. Can wait, let's say 3 seconds. I'll rename this to wait 3 seconds. And I'll click on save right here. Yeah, I'll rename this to also wait 3 seconds and click on save right here. Because we have 3 categories over here, so the lead can either be hot, warm, or cold. Here we're going to route our workflow 3 different flows right here. So the first flow will be for the hot leads. So here you can wait, let's say 2 seconds before we send them the follow-up email. So I'll rename this to wait 2 seconds and click on save right here. Same with this one over here. You can wait, let's say 2 seconds. Same with this one right here. You can wait, let's say 2 seconds and click on save. Now we can rename these modules to wait 2 seconds. This one to wait 2 seconds over here. So the first flow, here we're going to add a filter and say this one will be for the hot leads. And here you can see that the condition, so the results should equal to hot here. You can also set up a filter right here. This one will be for warm leads. Here you can say that the condition, so output should equal to warm. Here I'll click on save. And lastly, I'm going to add the label for the cold leads. Condition, you can say that the output should equal to cold in order to qualify these leads as cold here. The next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to send our lead an email telling them that they're qualified. So in email, I'll click on send an email module. So since they filled in their email address in a form, we're going to send them an email telling them that they're qualified. So here, you'll also need to create your connection like we did with other modules. So here, choose your connection type as Google restricted and give it a name. And here you'll need to add your client ID and client secret over here from your Google API, and then click on save to create your connection. Then on the new window that pops up, choose the account that you'd like to access via Make, and your connection will be created. Since I already done that, I'm going to close this right here. And here we're going to map the email address that they filled in on the form here. And here we're going to add the subject line and the email body that we're going to send our lead telling them that they're qualified. The subject line of the email is on the lines of next step after your submission. Content type of choosing plain text. The email body is on the lines of hi name. Thanks for sharing the details. Based on your responses, this looks like a strong fit and something we can help you move forward with quickly. Best next step is a short call to walk you through your situation and outline a clear plan. You can schedule a time over here. Looking forward to speaking with you. Best Dennis. Here I'll click on save. Here I'll rename this to fast follow-up email. And here I'll click on save. Now the next thing that we are going to do here is we're going to add the leads form submission data and their classification to a base in Airtable. In Airtable, I've created a base that I've renamed to lead follow-up base. In this base, I've created a table that I've renamed to hot leads, warm leads, and cold leads. So here's where we're going to add our respective leads. So for the hot leads, we're going to add them in this table right here. For the warm leads, we're going to add them in the warm leads table. And then for the cold leads, we're going to add them in the cold leads table. So for each table, we're going to add the lead's name, email address, their role, company size, qualification, reason for reaching out, current situation, when to take action, if they have a budget, what happens if no action is taken, if they've tried solving this before, and the next steps. So to add our leads to our page in Airtable, in our workflow here, I'll search for Airtable. Here I'll click on create a record module. Like you did the other modules here, you'll also need to create your connection by clicking on add, then choose your connection type right here as Airtable auth, then click on save, and then on the new window that pops up, choose the base that you'd like to access via make, and your connection will be created. Since I have already done that, I'm going to close this right here, and here we're going to find our base, which is this base right here. We'll follow our base. Table is going to be for the hot list, since this root is a hot list root. And here we're going to map the list name, email address, their role, company size, qualification, which is going to be this qualification right here, reason for reaching out, current situation, when to take action, if they have a budget, what happens if no action is taken, if they've tried to solve this before, and the next steps right here. Then I'll click on save. So here I rename this to hot leads record. Then here I'll click on save. Now the next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to send a second follow-up email here. So in email, I'll click on send an email module. We're going to map the email address right here. So and then we're going to add the subject line and the body of the email over here. So the subject line could be on the lines of quick follow-up. Content type, I'm going to choose plain text. The body of the email could be on the lines of hi name. Just following up in case my last message got buried. If this is still a priority, the next step is a quick call so we can get aligned and decide how to proceed. You can book a call over here. You can map the link to your calendar. Let me know either way, best, Dennis. So here I renamed this module to second follow-up email, and here I'll click on save. Here you can set up a filter. For example, you can wait a few days, you can make, let's say, 3 days. Now the condition that the date we are sending the second follow-up email should be 3 days after we submitted the form. So here we're going to click on add days. So from now, I'd like to send this email 3 days from now. Here I'll click on save here. Now we can wait a few seconds to send the third follow-up email. So we can wait, let's say, 3 seconds. Here I'll rename this to wait 3 seconds. Wait 3 seconds. And here I'll click on save. Then we're going to send the third follow-up email. So in email, I'll click on send an email module. Here we're going to add the lead's email address that they filled in our form right here. And here we're going to add the subject line and the email body over here. Content type, we're going to choose plain text. Here we're mapping the email address of our lead that they submitted via form. Subject line of this third follow-up email could be in the lines of closing the loop. Content type, we're choosing plain text. And the content of the email could be in the lines of hi name. I have not heard back, so I'll pause outreach for now. If this can become a priority again, you can book a call anytime using the link below. Either way, thanks for reaching out. Press Dennis. So here you can set up another filter. You can say we're going to wait, let's say, 5 days. And then the condition can say when they submitted the form, we'd like to send this email 5 days from now. So in dates, here I'll click on add days. We'd like to add days from now or from the submitted date +3. So we're going to send the third follow-up email 3 days from when they submitted the form. You can also do same with this one over here. You can say from when they submitted the form. We'd like to send the second follow-up email 3 days later. This one was supposed to be 5. Right here. Here, click on save. So this will be the third follow-up email. And here I'll click on save. Last thing that we're going to do in our hot leads routes, we're going to notify our team via Slack for them to follow up with his lead. So I'll search for Slack right here and click on Slack. Here we're going to click on send a message module. Like we did with the other modules, you'll also need to create your connection right here. Choose your connection type over here. Give your connection a name, and then click on save right here. And then on the new window that pops up, choose the account that you'd like to access via Make. And your connection will be created. Since I've already done that, I'm going to close this right here. We're going to select our channel from the list. Channel type, I'm going to choose public channel. And here we're going to find our channels that our team is in. Choose this channel right here. And here we're going to map a message that we're going to send our team. The message will be hot lead alert. A new hot lead just came in and requires immediate follow-up. And here we're mapping the name, email, role, current situation, budget, and the next steps requested. Schedule a call ASAP and update the CRM once contact is made. Here click on save. Here we're going to rename this to team notification. Then here click on save. So now our hot leads routes works perfectly. We're going to follow the same process with the warm leads routes and the cold leads routes. So now instead of repeating the entire process again, here you can choose to copy these modules and duplicate them right here. So I'm going to duplicate the modules twice. So I'll copy the modules again and paste them again right here. Connect these routes to the warm leads routes, and then I'll connect these routes to the cold leads routes right here. Then I'll auto align our automation. So now I'll go ahead and update the modules of the warm leads route and the cold leads route with the right data. I've gone ahead and updated the modules for the warm leads route and the cold leads route. If our lead is qualified and classified as warm, we're going to wait a few seconds and then send them this follow-up email with the subject line following up on your submission. Content type is going to be a plain text. The body of the email is on the lines of hi name. Thanks for taking the time to fill out a form. Based on your responses, this may be a fit, but it will help to clarify a few details first. If you're open to it, we can do a short call to see whether this makes sense to pursue now or later. And here we're linking our calendar link for them to schedule a call. Then we're going to add our leads form submission data and their qualification to a base in Airtable. Then we're going to wait 3 seconds to send them the second follow-up email with the subject line check-in back in. Content type is going to be plain text and the body of the email is going to be hi name. Just check in back in. If this is something you want to explore further, a short call will quickly tell us whether it's worth moving forward. Then here we're linking the link to our calendar for them to schedule a call. And then we're concluding the email by saying, if timing is not right, no problem at all. Best, Dennis. Then we're going to wait another 5 days to send them the third follow-up email with the subject line right here, which is on the lines of last note from me. Content type, we're going to choose plain text, and the content of the email is going to be hi name. I will assume timing is not ideal right now and we'll step back. If things change, you can always reach out or book a call directly over here. Thanks again for the interest. Best, Dennis. Then also going to notify our team, telling them that they should follow up with his lead. So the message that we're going to send our team is on the lines of a warm lead has been classified and added to the pipeline. Here's their name, email address, role, current situation, and their budget status. This lead is evaluating options, monitor engagement, and be ready to follow up if they reply or show increased intent. Now, for the cold leads routes, after the lead has been classified as cold, we're going to wait a few seconds and then send them the first follow-up email, which is on with the subject line regarding your submission. Content type is going to be plain text, and the content of the email is going to be hi name. Thanks for reaching out and sharing the details. Based on your responses, this does not look like the right fit at this time. The timing or requirement do not align well with how we work. That said, if your situation changes in the future, you're welcome to reach out again. Then we're going to proceed and add their lead submission data and their qualification to a base in Airtable using this module. Then we're going to wait 3 days to send them a second follow-up email with the subject line quick follow-up. Content type is going to be plain text, and the content of the email is on the lines of hi name. Just quick follow-up. If your priority is budget and urgency changes, feel free to reply and we can reassess whether it makes sense to talk. Otherwise, no action needed. Then we're going to wait 5 days to send them that follow-up email with the subject line closing these out. Content type, we're going to choose plain text, and the content of the email is going to be in the lines of hi name. I will close the loop on this for now. If this becomes relevant again in the future, you know where to find me. Wishing you the best moving forward. Best, Dennis. And then lastly, we're going to send a notification to our team, telling them that we just logged in a cold lead to a CRM. So a cold lead was submitted and does not require sales action at this time. So here's their name, the email address, and the reason why they are a cold lead. So they have low urgency or not a fit right now. The lead has been tagged and placed into automated nurture. No manual follow-up needed unless it has changes. Here I'm going to click on save here. So our workflow is pretty much set up over here. So we can try testing our workflow to see how it works. To test our workflow, we're going to start by filling in our form with the leads data. Here I'll refresh our form link right here. Then I'll click on start to fill out our form over here. The name of our lead could be Sarah Johnson. Click on OK. Email address, you can say it's sarahjohnson@anax.com. Here, click on OK. For best describes role, can say she influences decision, but she cannot decide alone. Main reason why they're reaching out, exploring options for the future. Current situation, say it's slowing them down. They're looking to take an action in 1 to 3 months. Depends on the solution. You can say 2 to 5 people. What happens if you do nothing? Things stay inefficient. Have you tried solving this before? Partially. What's the best next steps? I want to understand the solution better, and here click on submit our form. Here I run automation. So here you can see we capture the data that we submitted via our form over here. So the lead's name was Sarah, his email address, and all this data that we filled in our form. Then we set the variables for the form submission data using this module over here. Then we wait a few seconds and then qualify the lead using this tool. You can see qualify them as warm. Then we wait a few seconds and then routed our workflow in the warm leads route and send them the fast follow-up email right here. You can see the emails that we're sending them over here. And then we added the leads in our base in Airtable here. So here the base here the table was supposed to be warm leads table. Here click on save. This one was supposed to be cold leads table. Forgot to update this module right here. And here we're going to add the lead's name. We're going to map the lead's name, the email, role, company size, qualification is going to be this one right here, reason for reaching out, current situation, when to take action, do you have a budget, do if no action happens, if you've tried solving this before, and the next steps right here. You can do the same with this one right here. We can update the lead's name, email address, role, size, qualification, the reason for reaching out, current situation, when to take action, if they have a budget, what happens if no action is taken, tried to solve this before, and the next steps right here. Then I'll click on save. So now here I'm going to find our previous submission right here. Then I run our workflow again. So you can see got our form submission data right here because it has information. Then we set the variables for the form submission data. Then we wait a few seconds and then qualify them over here as warm. Then we wait a few seconds and then routed our workflow in the warm leads route. We wait a few seconds to send the fast follow-up email. Here's the content of the email. And then we added the leads data to a warm leads table in our base. Now when I open our warm leads table, you can see we created a new record right here. We added the leads data, so we added the name, email, role, company size, qualification, the reason for reaching out, their current situation, when to take action, if they have a budget, what happens if no action is taken, if they've tried solving this before, and the next steps are here. So after 2 days, we're going to send them the second follow-up email. And then after 5 days, we're going to send them the third follow-up email and a team notification for them to follow up with this lead. So let us try testing the cold leads route. To do that, here, I'll choose where to start, and then I'll choose to start from now. And I'll click on save. And in our form, I'll refresh it again. And here, I'll click on start to fill out our form again. So here, we're going to add the name of an example lead. So their name is Sam Peters. Email address, you can say it's sam.does@10x.com. Obey describes your role, you can say they're just researching. Main reason we're reaching out, just curious. Not a problem yet. When are you looking to take action? Can say later than 3 months. Do you have a budget? No budget at the moment. How big is your company or operation? Can say just me. What happens if you do nothing? Not sure. Have you tried solving this before? No, this is our first attempt. Next steps, I just want information from now. And then I click on submit. Then in our workflow, I'll run automation again. So here you can see that our workflow was executed successfully. So we captured the data that we just submitted via our form over here to capture Sam Peters information. Then we set the variables for their form submission data using this module. Then we waited a few seconds and then qualify the lead as called. Then we waited a few seconds, then routed our workflow in the call leads route, and then sent the lead the fast follow-up email. Here's the fast follow-up email we're sending our lead. Then we're adding them to our base in Airtable. So now in our call leads table, in our base, you can see we created a new record right here. So we added the name, email, role, company size, qualification, reason for reaching out, their current situation, when they like to take action, if they have a budget, what happens if no action is taken, if they've tried solving this problem before, and the next steps right here. And then we're going to wait 3 days to send them the second follow-up email, to wait 5 days later to send them the third follow-up email, and then we'll proceed to send our team a notification via Slack for them to log in their data to CRM or to follow up with this lead. Okay, so our warm leads route and our cold leads route works perfectly. Let us try testing the hot leads route. To do that, in our trigger, I'll choose where to start, and then I'll choose to start from now and click on save right here. Then in our form, I'll refresh it again. Then here I'll click on start. Yeah, we're going to start by filling in our full name. The name could be Jimmy Jones, and here I'll click on OK. Email address can say jimmy@10x.com. Then I'll click on OK. Obey describe your role, can say I'm the final decision maker. Main reason for reaching out, can say we need to solve this immediately. Obey describe your situation, it's costing us time and money. We're looking to take an action immediately. Yes, we have a budget. Can say it's 20+ people. We keep losing time or money. Have you tried solving this? Yes, but it did not work. Well, best describe the next steps. You can say I want to speak to someone as soon as possible. And here I'll click on submit our form. Then in our workflow, I'll click on run once. So here you can see that our workflow was executed successfully. So here we captured the data that we just filled in our form for Jimmy Jones right here. Here's their full name, email address, and these are the data that they filled in our form. Then we proceeded to set the variables for their form submission data using this module right here. Then we wait a few seconds and then qualify them as hot using this Gemini module. Then we wait a few seconds and then routed our workflow in the hot list route. And then we sent them the fast follow-up email, which is on the lines of, "Hi Jimmy, thanks for sharing your details. Based on your response, this looks like a strong fit and something we can help you move forward with quickly. Next step will be to schedule for a short call. We're going to map our calendar link for them to schedule a call with us. And then lastly, we're adding them to the hot leads table in our base, in Airtable. Now, when I open our hot leads table in our base, here, you can see we created a new record right here, where we added the lead name, email, role, company size, qualification, reason for reaching out, their current situation, when to take action, if they have a budget, what will happen if no action is taken, if they've tried solving this before, and the next steps right here, using this workflow that we created right here in Make. And then we're going to wait 3 days to send them the second follow-up email. And we're going to wait 5 days to send them the third follow-up email and a notification to our team via Slack for them to follow up with this lead. So our workflow works perfectly. Thank you for watching. Now, if you'd like me to create this workflow for you, or a workflow similar to this one, just click the first link in the description to schedule a call with me. On the call, we'll discuss into details about the workflow that you'd like me to create for you. But if you enjoyed this video and you have a system or a workflow in mind that you'd like me to create using make.com, just comment it down below in the comment section. I read all the comments, and if I land on your comment and I find it intriguing, I'll come back on a future video showing you how to create the entire system or automation workflow from scratch using make.com. But for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.